Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumptions or beliefs.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This is That Thing of Ours. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Tuesday, 29th of July, 2025. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Locals, and Pill.net.
and if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. And if you're on Facebook, there's like 7 choices. So run over there and clickety click.
Click away, everybody. All right, we're just kind of all sorts of weirdness going on. The sound didn't start properly. It
I
didn't
know.
end properly. I don't even know what's going on.
I don't either.
Anyway, all right. Well, it looks like it's pretty much just you and me right now, but I know that everybody's going to be showing up.
Yeah.
So let's see. What do you want to do? You want to go ahead and just jump in? I mean, we did say that we were only going to do Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Yeah, but we announced last night.
Yeah, we announced last night, but whatever. There's Left Lane. How you doing, Left Lane? Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Left Lane.
Appreciate you.
There's Mike.
There's Mike. Hey, Mike, what's going on, man? Left Lane, are you a new friend here? We appreciate you joining.
No, last time.
Oh, that's
remember?
right. Yeah, that's right. All right. I'm getting it together. Thanks for your patience.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Would
We just
you-
jumping right in here.
Yeah.
All
Would
right.
you read that, please?
Yeah, no problem. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Make sure I got my monocle on right. Legacy Media reluctantly admits EU trade deal is pretty darned awesome.
There's Silver.
There's Silver. Hey, Silver. What's
She
going on?
says, sounds good now.
Yeah, it was just the intro.
Yeah, the intro was being weird.
The sound started late and it ended early.
So,
whatever.
okay. Well,
All right.
let's listen.
Computers be computering.
Yeah, I know.
The early reviews are in on the new trade deal announced with the European Union. The Financial Times says the deal marks a victory for Trump.
Is this a fantastic deal then struck by Donald Trump?
Absolutely a victory on behalf of the Trump administration.
Well, the bottom line is this is the biggest trade deal in President Trump's effort to effectively reshape the global trading order.
On this deal, the European Union, this is a big win for the U.S.
The bigger picture is that Trump is still very much pursuing his longer-term goal of achieving what he perceives to be fairness for America.
It's a triumph of a lot of things. Certainly, the president ought to take a victory lap. I think it ends up being good for the European Union. It's a blow against the conventional wisdom.
Thoughts?
All right. So apparently the left doesn't even have a narrative that they can try to push on this one to make it seem like Trump did a bad thing. But you know what? That's what they do. They gotta push their narrative out there. And If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. They have no shame. We know that the legacy media has absolutely zero shame whatsoever in terms of telling falsehoods, half truths, and really, honestly, just all out lies. But they kind of backed themselves into a corner with all of the lies that they've done up to this point. So, you know what? It is what it is, huh?
Well, that's what they do.
That is what they do. I mean, they lie.
Yeah.
It's the legacy media. That's why they're, the legacy media, and people aren't watching them anymore. Hey, Grandpa has a lot. Hey, Grandpa has a lot. Welcome, friend. How are you doing?
Hey, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. What do we got going on next?
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. I did it backwards, so it helps out if I turn it the right way. All right. President Trump gives rare praise to the legacy media. Well, isn't that an interesting follow-up?
Oh, there's hope.
Hey, Hope. Thanks for joining. Trump said it's the best trade deal for America in history. Probably wouldn't surprise me on that one, too. It's called the Smith-Mundt Act. Yep. Propaganda made possible by Obama. Yeah, he repealed that one when he was president. And look at all of the lies that we've been getting from the fourth pillar, I guess, is what they love to call themselves.
Yep. Let's listen.
Yeah, let's listen.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you to the media. The media's been terrific, believe it or not. I didn't use the word fake news one time, not one time. Today, they're not fake news. Today, they're wonderful news. But I just want to thank you. They've treated us really well, and they respect what we've done really at a level that you rarely see nowadays. So I really very much appreciate it.
Thoughts?
Well, this isn't a glowing endorsement of the legacy media, but you know what? He's got to play the game. And if they do something right, you know what? It's probably a good thing for him to go ahead and do that. So that way it's not always negative, like the legacy media is always negative towards Trump. It's a rare thing. What's the point behind it? It's probably part of the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, probably part of the game.
Absolutely. How about some Craig?
We could use some Craig.
Let's
listen. I need Jesus.
The enemy isn't attacking you because you're weak. The enemy is attacking you because you are a warrior. You have someone to protect. You have a kingdom to advance, and you have a battle to win. You may fail. Yes, you may fall. Yes, you may stumble. But with Christ, you rise to fight again. Because you are a warrior, and a warrior may not win every battle, but a warrior never stops fighting. And when you continue to fight with the people of God, you will see the victory of Christ, because whom the Son sets free is free indeed.
Thoughts?
All right. On that last part, who the sun sets free is free indeed. The freedom that we have here in this world is not the freedom that we think it is. It's not what we'd necessarily like it to be. Our freedom is actually found in the things that aren't material, the things that aren't of this world. And the only way we can find that is by turning to God. And sometimes it can seem a little thin, especially as we're always being attacked with the myriad of things that the devil attacks us with. And it's strengthening, it's character strengthening, but that might not always make sense. And so it's difficult, but that freedom is being able to let go of all of these things that we would like to hold on to, because everything here on this earth is truly fleeting. It's only temporary. It's a blink in the fraction of a second. And really there's not much else to, this life other than the imprint that we can make for future generations to guide what can happen. If we look at the miracle of Jesus and what he did for this planet, look at where we were with the Roman Empire. People weren't living really much past 30 years old in that period of time in the world history. And now we have advanced. The wars are extremely different. People get upset because our wars, there's civilian casualties as opposed to the carpet bombing that we did just back in World War II in Vietnam. Things have changed significantly, and it's up to us to make these changes. And during the course of our short lifespans, we might not see a whole lot of change. but we will see some change. And what can we do? We can make sure that there is as much positive change as we move forward, because in the end, it's all of our souls that make up the entirety of all of this creation through God. He's created this for us. And so as we turn to him, we will get those rewards. We will get the fruits of our labor at some point in time. And it may not be during our lifetime. And that's the part that's kind of a bitter pill to swallow sometimes. But in the end, when we let go of these things that we think are important in our lives and we recognize what the bigger picture is, that's where we can really kind of hang our hat and try to find the joy in something that is much bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
All right. There we go. All right. Ranchers reveal test results showing grocery store beef has lower nutritional value.
Ready?
Surprise.
Let's listen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Bob, and this is my wife, Ann Demerith. We have Clear Spring Ranch here at Mountain Grove, Missouri. We want to tell you a little bit about our nutrient density testing that we had done.
All that came back late last fall, and we're just now getting around to releasing the results. They tested us for omega-6 to 3s, phytochemicals, B vitamins, carotenoids, and back like this. If you were to eat one of our cheeseburgers compared to the grocery store meat, you would have to eat 2.7 cheeseburgers, which looks a little bit like this. Here we go.
Slide it back and forth a little bit.
Our nutrients are 2.7 times better than what the grocery store meat is. So those are our results. We'll catch you some screenshots after a bit.
And the flavor is very good too.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
And the flavor's really good too. Well, that's not much of a surprise. I would say that all of this, everything that's going on, because probably most of the GMO stuff probably goes through the cattle themselves.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Aaron, thanks for joining, man. Most of the GMO products probably go through the cattle. They probably feed them all of that crap. That's why there's so many cows with holes in the side of them. So that way they can find out what's going on with their digestive system and can help them out when their digestive system, for some strange reason, isn't working the way that it, is designed to by nature. That might be just a guess that it has something to do with the food that they're feeding the cattle that they put in your average grocery store. Who knows? Also, if there's any kind of fillers that they put in there. I really don't know what's going on with the beef, but I know it doesn't have the same flavor that it used to have. It doesn't have, I don't feel as energized when I eat beef like I used to. It used to feel like you had a lot more energy when you ate beef. And it was a big thing. And now it feels like I'm still a little hungry. There's a lot of weird stuff. So test results like this wouldn't surprise me at all that there's strange things going on. And if you work directly with a rancher, that you're going to have clean food and that it's going to be a little bit more healthy and just a little bit better overall in terms of the quality. Carol's, hey, Carol, thanks for joining.
That was Dawn.
Oh, that's Dawn. Okay, she's using Carol's thing. We're headed home from work. Congratulations. Yay. Oh, Chops is here. What's up, Chops? And Left Lane says, well, there's a chance to send me one of them hamburgers to prove it. Yeah, I know, right?
It looked good, didn't it?
Oh, man, it looks so good right now.
It looked really
It made me hungry. I don't need to be hungry at the beginning of the show. So, yeah, glad y'all are both here, Dawn and Carol.
Yes,
Yeah.
love you both.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yes.
Would you read that, please?
All right. Here we go. Bret Baier says his non-studio hair makes him look like a cross between Bobby Brady and Albert Einstein. Hey, Donnell, how you doing? Happy day 3, aka Tuesday. Yay, everyone. Hearts. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Thank you. Silver says, you guys got me to purchase our meat from a local rancher instead of a grocery store. Was there a difference? That is the question that I have. Is there a difference in the
That's
quality?
what we're gonna do once we move to
As
Florida.
soon as, yeah, because there is a place out here in Las Vegas. There's a couple, but since we're intending on getting out to Florida ASAP, it would be kind of difficult to bring a half a side over, across the country. It'd be difficult.
And
So
I'm not throwing away that kind of
no,
beef.
we're not throwing away that amount of beef, and I'm not going to chance it because that'd just be too much. So
You ready?
Yes.
Let's listen.
All right.
Yes, this is what my hair looks like when I'm not on set. I'm working out right now, cross between Bobby Brady and Albert Einstein. Okay, tonight, Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary, on talking about the EU deal, the trade deal, the Japan deal, what comes next. They're meeting full-time with China right now. President Trump overseas with the UK Prime Minister, expansive news conference. We'll get into all the things he said. Plus, we have a hostage who was released from Gaza and 2 family members who have hostages inside. That hostage who was released was with them, and they talk about it all tonight. Really emotional. We'll see you at 6 p.m. tonight, and I'll have my hair regular.
Thoughts?
All right, the hair thing was just a distraction, but there's a lot of stuff going on. I don't even recognize him, and I know that Bret Baier. It's always so slicked back when he's on the news. It's interesting to see him that way. It's really throws you off. But Bret Baier's been kind of a hit or miss in terms of some of the stuff he says. He was kind of an anti-Trumper there for a little while.
Yeah.
And it's a little interesting, but he's still around, and we'll see how all that stuff works out in terms of what role Bret Baier is playing, what he has been playing up to this point, and what he will be playing in the future. Mike says, I just got a half cow, 650 pounds of meat, all grass-fed. It is amazing. I can imagine that. I know that the beef is going to be a better quality, no matter what they say on the packaging. And I really don't trust ground beef anymore. Kay doesn't mind bothering it, and I'll eat it because I get hungry. But I just don't.
I'd rather get it from a rancher.
I would rather get it from a rancher, without a doubt. Let's see, that much meat would last me 5 years. I bet it would too. All of y'all are amazing people too, by the way. Yeah.
You ready?
And thank you for the raids over there on Rumble as well. Grandpa has a lot, and
You mean pilled?
Or pilled. What did I say?
Rumble.
I meant pilled. Anyways, yeah,
I agree,
appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, Bret Baier 2.0.
Yeah.
Who knows anymore?
Who knows anymore?
Their faces are always changing, but they keep telling us that the same name is the same person with a different face. But yeah, sure. Hey, it's your story. You tell it how you want to. Hey, Steph, have company tonight right now. Well, that's okay. You can rewatch. They're working on your AC in your car.
Yay.
All right. Well, good.
We love you.
Yeah, it's probably up there in the Southeast. Probably need your AC worked on, and sadly,
and
it's a bad time.
checked in because I would have been worried.
Yeah. We are glad you checked in.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All righty.
Just so you know, God understands. He understands everything you've experienced. He understands your tears. Watch this. If you don't say a word, if you can't seem to say a word, or if you just don't know what to say to God, start with knowing God understands, even that. God understands us so much, bro. You talk about peace, you talk about safety, you talk about freedom, bro, like that actually makes me feel so safe with God. One of the reasons why I feel so safe with God, because I know God knows me and understands me. He's not looking at me like, bro, what you got going on? He's like, I get it. You're hurting right now, I get it. You're in pain right now, I get it. He's never shutting you down, shutting you out. You got to figure out how to communicate to him, and all you know how to do right now is scream. God gets it.
Thoughts?
God gets it. That's kind of sums it up there a whole lot. That, and I was trying to catch up with some of these comments because I see that Aaron's dino chickens are hatching.
Yeah,
and then I got sidetracked with your comment. Are you serious?
Yeah.
As much as you've been acting like you were terrified of the dino chickens because they're like 3 feet tall.
Yeah, I kind of want one now. I'm so ready to go to Florida and have animals.
Yeah, but you can't eat the dino chickens.
I don't care.
They're probably GMO.
Oh, stop it.
They probably are.
Are you ready?
And then the comments about the AC. You know what? I agree with you, but I don't know. I mean, you really
It's
can't go
Vegas.
without AC out here. And then, of course, then again, anytime it's over 100. But you know what? In the South, they always used to be able to deal with the heat just fine without air conditioning.
We didn't have air conditioning in San Diego, but the Marine Corps told me I could see the ocean if I stood on my tippy toes and leaned way over to the left and squinted.
You don't need air conditioning in SoCal, or at least along the coast. It's just not necessary.
Okay.
Anyways. And yeah,
me too.
AC is the best invention in history. Oh, I'm thankful for AC too.
She's in San Diego, so there.
Too hot. I hear you. AC is a good thing.
Yeah.
But there's better ways to do it, especially those earth tubes. If y'all don't know about that, yeah, it cools the air down to like 65-ish before it even goes into the house.
Uh-huh.
There's better ways. Anyways, Aaron says they're old heirloom breed from South America. They lay poorly, and you could eat them. I just like them. But, I guess that works.
See, get me my chickens.
I knew we were going to get stuck with the dino chicken. I was excited about it before. I don't know. I'd do a dino chicken. Yeah, the ocean breeze is your AC. It's the best AC.
Yeah, I miss that.
I do miss San Diego.
You ready?
Yes.
Would you read that, please?
All right, and I'll actually pay attention fully this time.
Thank you.
All right, let's see.
Kind of have a show to do.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Why do I keep turning this? I must have got this on backwards. All right. Editor of Wall Street Journal, which Trump may be suing, humiliates himself on Fox News by admitting tariffs are working.
Let's listen.
How about that?
Trump is in danger of proving the truth of an old joke about economists, which is that an economist is someone who sees something work in practice and explains why it will never work in theory. Trump is challenging the theory that tariffs are terrible for the global economy. I'm with David. I was a skeptic. I still am. I still think we'd be better off without tariffs. But you have to say, so far, the tariffs that we have, which are significant, exactly as you say, Martha, they're not as significant as the ones that he initially proposed in April, but they are really big. The total average tariff now in the US is about 17-18% as a result of this EU deal. It was 2 to 3% before Donald Trump became president. A lot of people said that would be a disaster. It hasn't been a disaster. Bill Maher's right. The economy is growing. Inflation is stable. The stock market is booming. So I think Donald Trump is demonstrating not only that he is a very, very good deal maker, and this deal with the European Union is an extraordinary one in those terms. It's an incredibly one-sided deal. It's like, you and me doing a deal and you end up owning all of my personal property, Martha. It's an astonishingly one-sided deal. But not only that, but it's also the kind of deal with the tariffs that's in place that are high enough that they will produce more revenue for the US, probably produce some more investment in the US, but low enough that they don't do so much damage to the economy that people thought. It is a remarkable success.
Thoughts?
Okay. Despite his little comment about he doesn't like tariffs or whatever, it's a good thing you're not president because we got to pay back this national deficit some way, somehow, and we got to get this economy going, and it can't be off of the backs of the American working people. I'm sure that all the big business people would love nothing more than to continue to tax the crap out of the American people, so that way we're just in some kind of subsistence poverty because the uber wealthy have decided that they need more money than we do. But I don't care. You know what? It's really hitting them in the pockets more. It's actually working out better for us, would be my guess, because everybody's already squeezed too much. Nobody has any money, so they can't afford to raise the prices on us at the retail sites because, well, we can't afford the crap as it is that they keep importing. So in the end, they have to eat it. And I'm all right with that. Now, as the economy gets better, don't think that they won't be laying that squarely on everybody's shoulders. But it should also be an encouragement for us to not buy so much of everything from everywhere else and to buy local. Like we were talking about with these ranchers. And don't kid yourself, there's a lot of meat coming in from overseas. And so if we buy from local ranchers, the grocery stores aren't going to have a choice. Well, they stop buying stuff from us. If you can go to a local farmer's market and get your produce there. I mean, if you're going to the grocery store once a week anyways, and there's a local farmer's market within driving distance, Why can't you get a majority of your produce and everything from that farmer's market and look the person in the eye as from whom you are purchasing whatever it is you're getting at that farmer's market, and you'll be able to, it's going to be better quality because you know that the crap that they have, the fake little rainstorms with the thunder and sometimes the lights flash and everything on the produce to make it, I don't know, some kind of a show for produce or whatever. It's all Vegas anymore anyways. You know what? You don't need all that. They have to make it look good with that kind of entertainment for your food, because the food really just isn't that good looking. So you know what? Yeah, the tariffs are working and it's given us a chance to reset, and we need that reset. And if we can cut the middleman out by going straight to the ranchers, the farmers, the person making furniture, whatever the case is, then the tariffs won't really make a difference, will they? And I think that that's what we need to be focusing on. Take advantage of this opportunity. Chop says nearly all chicken products like nuggets are assembled using meat glue, and more often than not use an ingredient like silly putty silicone. Yeah, I know. And I've been noticing with the grocery store meat that there's a lot of they call it fat, and it really, and I know that they're gluing meat together. I can't confirm that that's the case going on with the grocery stores we have here, but it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. So yeah, we cut out the fat just because, yeah, they might glue together a couple of really poorly cut pieces of meat to make it look like something else. We don't need that. It's not good. That's why I'd feel a lot better just going straight to a farmer or a rancher directly. Aaron says, absolutely love my sis and bro in Las Vegas. We love you too, man.
Very much.
Hey, Sheriff Hector, thanks for joining. And then they're probably absolutely doing it here. It's hard to find good stuff, and it sucks because the fat is the best part. That's where the flavor is. And that's, you know what? When we cook the meat and the fat, that's probably one of the reasons why we're missing so much of the flavor that we have. So what are they doing with it? Who knows? That they're probably taking it and they're going to put it in all of the lard that they're going to be putting boiling everybody's fries and everything in here soon.
Oh, the beef tallow?
Yeah, the beef tallow. Excuse me, that's it. Not the lard, but the beef tallow. It's got to go somewhere. And we know that they think that we're their guinea pigs for some reason. But that's probably because they live in their little crystal palaces up in super fancy pants, uber rich land. And they don't have to worry about the same things as the riffraff do, because we're not as vile of human beings that we would not care about people's health or safety or happiness for profits. But hey, the India Trading Company, East India Trading Company, it is what it is. Donnell says, I stopped eating McDonald's a few years before I found out there was human in it. It made me so sick. Yeah,
There's Carol.
Hey, Carol, there she is. As far as that goes, we stopped eating McDonald's as soon as we heard about it. We fell into Trump's, really making a push during his presidential run, with McDonald's. Maybe they cleaned it up, and then we were sick for like 3 days. And then we tried it again once after, because really the flavor is, I hate to say this, good, but I'm assuming that that they got all that stuff out of it, if that was even the case.
We'll see.
Yeah. Aaron says, have 4 pounds of beef tallow in my fridge. I live on eggs, 80-20 ground beef, and bacon and butter for the most part since last November. Carnivore diet is the best. I know you've been touting that carnivore diet, and I think F. Clan loves that thing too. Where is F. Clan? We're missing some people anyways. We did the carnivore diet.
Mike's being way too quiet.
Mike is being quiet. He's probably working or something.
I know.
Yeah. Anyways.
Or he's sweating to death.
Well, I mean, it's toasty down there.
Up there.
Up there. Well, yeah.
He's in Virginia.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Anyways.
Mike,
it's never
are you
Kuwait
okay? You ready?
The flavor is designed in a lab to get you addicted. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, with the McDs, and boy, is it addictive.
Yeah.
It really is. Donnell says the last bird flu when they killed all the chickens and cows is when they replaced all the tainted meat. Excuse me. See, I believe that too. I do believe that when all of those critters were getting burnt in the warehouse fires, that was, I think, one of the analysis that we gave on the whole scenario is this is how you clean up the tainted supply. And it's going to take a while to rebuild it, but I do know that it's going to be getting better. Mike says, if you want to save the children, stop eating at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw what Liberty said?
Liberty says, okay, say only going to get one chicken. Then, well, heck, it will need a friend. Then, heck, they will need a hen house. And then on and on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it works, right? I mean, that's how it works.
Knows.
Yeah. That's exactly
He
how
knows
that works.
I want about 20, 30.
Yeah, we need more acreage.
I know.
We should just start out. We did find a place out in Florida, has 1,000 chickens on it already.
1,224. Get it right.
1,224 chickens.
Yeah.
That way we can just get over it right away.
Right. You ready?
On 5 acres. I don't even know how the AUs work on that, or the agricultural units or animal units work out on that. But I'm sure it's all
legit.
I'm sure it's all on the up and up.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Would you read that, please?
All right. Let's see. Reporter asks Starmer if he's envious because Trump makes dealing with illegals look easy.
Let's listen.
All righty.
The president makes it look easy dealing with illegal migration. You must be envious of his record in such a short period of time.
Well, I think we've been discussing irregular, illegal migration is a huge issue in both our countries. In the United Kingdom, it is a real cause for concern, and that's why we must bear down on it.
Thoughts?
Immigration's been a problem in Europe for a long time, and not just any one country. It's going to be a difficult thing for them to deal with. There was that incident where in Italy, where the guy snatched a lady's purse and just got fed up with it. So she jumped in her car, she ran him over, she backed up, she ran him over, she backed up and drove off. It's what happens when people are pushed to the brink. And I'm not condoning this, but what I'm saying is people do it, especially if they're not like, giving it all over to God right away, running to that cross as soon as you can. We're all susceptible to that. And so Europe's got a lot of issues, and the hostility is growing between the people who are natives of each one of those countries, in addition to the hostility from the people who have been coming over. Because the thing is things are a little bit nicer over there where these people are coming from, and so they want to stay, just like here in the U.S. But the difference is the way the land is run, the way the countries are ran. It's pandemonium and chaos because everybody's got a lot of different views and everything, and it requires a lot of forgiveness. And that's what a lot of these immigrants need to understand, is they come from a place of unforgiveness. In the countries that they come from, there is no forgiveness. They'll chop your damn hand off if you get caught stealing. That is not a rehabilitative kind of justice at all. Right. That's just you mess up, you're going down. And I know that over in the Middle East, I don't know if it's still this way, but I know that when an American shows up over there, they're happy to take you front and center to the places that they call Chop Chop Square, as they dispense their very harsh kind of justice, and they want Americans to see what they believe justice is, and they're proud of it. But the thing is it makes people want to leave, and I can understand that. If they were, if we had a Chop Square, it wouldn't be anything that I'd be excited about, and I can see why people want to get away from that. But the thing is they're their spiritual energy, I guess, if we want to say it that way, is that of that kind of darkness that they left from. And it's difficult to transition into some place that's more forgiveness and accepting of people's different ways, as long as it follows within a different kind of law other than what people's religious books say.
Right?
So Mike says, I'm still here cooking a fat steak. Y'all are just rubbing it in.
See what I said?
Yummy. I want one. Yeah, I know. We got to get out there. Aaron says the immigration is what happens when people lose hope about fixing their own home countries. You know, Aaron, and you are 100%. You hit the nail on the head with that one. You're 100% correct.
There's F Clan.
Yo, F Clan, what's going on? Getting invaded by people. See you later. All right, F Clan.
Wait, what a minute. Why?
What? Anyway,
Aaron, thank you.
Oh, Aaron. Oh, wow. Thank you very much, man. Been a good week for me. Get yourself some steaks. Much love. Love y'all. Aaron, you're awesome. All of y'all are awesome. Y'all are great supporters. Thank you. Leftover Pisquets. I love the Pisquets. It's amazing. It's the best dish ever created. Pasta. It's amazing. Goes with everything. Makes everything good.
We have the best family on all of Rumble. I
Rumble,
don't care what
Pilled, all of them.
All of them. I don't care what anyone says. We have the best family ever.
Anyways, what I was going to get back to was the whole what did Aaron say there? Immigration. Oh, when people lose hope about fixing their home countries, and I was thinking about this, and isn't that one of the things that we should be doing with all of these people? We hear these reports of injustice and justice not being dispensed equally amongst various classes because of, class warfare is very common in various countries. Why can't we support these refugees? Honestly, they're kind of a refugee status to empower them to help fix their own country in a peaceful way, if at all possible. There's ways we can fix this, and I think that that's one of our jobs with the freedoms that we have in the United States. We do have these freedoms, and we should be encouraging other countries. Now, President Trump is doing great things in Saudi Arabia and throughout the Middle East. And I think that those kinds of deals that President Trump is working as those countries modernize with a lot of the things they do. I know that there's going to be pushback, but there's certainly ways, if we can have the ultra liberal Pennsylvania have communities of Amish people in it, then that means to me that you can have use that knowledge and wisdom that America has gained with those kinds of things. And it's not just Pennsylvania, Ohio, big differences. So is there nothing that we can do to help other countries figure out how to let various sectors and groups of people live within the same borders?
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way. Now, I know that we've had USAID, and they've been pushing their very specific LGBTQ, elemental P agenda, which is one of the things that makes the rest of the world look at us as great Satan. But I guess we got to do the house cleaning first, so that way we don't get wrapped up in, but look at your own house. Yeah, right. I know. We do need to look at our own house. Sea Strike, Grand Rising. Thank you very much. Aaron says, thank God he's helped me to sell a lot of bugs this week. Congratulations, brother. And I know he's going to continue as you continue to turn to him. Aaron says, at Hope even had a sale to the Natural Museum of History's entomology department this last week. That was kind of cool. Really?
That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome. They're going to patent your bugs, dude.
Right?
No, they're not.
All right. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Would you read that, please?
Yes. All right. Bill Maher admits he was completely wrong about President Trump's tariffs. Really? Huh? Epiphanies. Moments of clarity. Isn't that amazing?
Let's listen.
All right.
I remember along with probably most people, was saying at the beginning, by the 4th of July, somebody had a thing how the the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me, but that didn't happen. Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that, not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth is, I don't know what his strategy is. But look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I got to own it, that that these tariffs were going to fucking sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. So, you know, how do we deal with that fact? Because that's the fact.
Yeah. That's the fact, Jack.
Thoughts?
It's a clown. But you know what? Congratulations. He had to tell the truth, and he actually did. The problem was he said most everybody. Yeah, most everybody in your circle, not most everybody. And that's the thing is they think that everybody thinks just like them, and we should think like them. And if we don't think like them, then we're the ones that wrong. Talk about some narcissistic personality disorder. Talk about sociopathy. You know, with very little empathy to how other people think or feel. You know, just they think that everything they do is absolutely brilliant. All of these delusions of grandeur are so exhausting for normal people. How they get there, I have no idea. Well, I do have an idea because, well, I was a conspiracy theorist who found out they weren't so many theories. But you know what? They got to, you know, figure it out in the end. I can't get the new emojis now.
Are you clicking on the little face by the chat? Are you on your phone or on the computer, sweetie?
Follow to unlock custom channel emotes. I am following. It's saying the same thing to me. What on earth is going on here? I made the damn things. You can tell me I can't have them? Oh, that's weird.
Mike says, what? Trump was right again?
I know, right? Trump was right again. It's going to make some positive changes, and they're going to have to backtrack everything they say as they continue to hold on to their lie. You know, they've lied to themselves enough that they actually believe their own shit.
Yeah, I know.
That's what it boils down to, is they actually believe this stuff. But they believe it because they think they have all the smartest people in the world. The problem is all of these smartest people in the world seem to be easily deceived.
Hold on. Angie, down at the bottom.
Tell the truth to God.
There should be a little face where you put the chat. Click on that and see if you can see them there. Because that's what I have to do to get to them.
Okay, so we're doing a.
We'll figure it out. I don't know why.
Here, share,
all of you guys
sharing that here. If you could pop that down, or get rid of that comment, please. Okay, so down here, this little face, and this is what I'm getting. But apparently I'm not following my own show, but I know I am because on the other screen it says that I am. So I don't.
We'll figure it out.
I need to refresh or something.
Yeah.
F5. Huh, you can refresh that.
And see, I know
it still says follow.
Us.
Yeah, I know she follows us. I don't know. Technical difficulties. We'll figure it out. Yeah, that's what yours is saying. All right.
Okay, that's weird.
It's only the new emojis. Well, I got rid of a couple of them because they were just too small.
Yeah, it's got to be a glitch.
There's got to be a glitch.
Anyway.
I don't know what to tell you. Yeah,
you ready?
We'll see what we can get figured out on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Could you read that, please?
Chuck Schumer's so angered by Trump's trade deal win that he's just going to pretend it's not happening. Denial.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, you have to read this one.
Oh, I got to read? Oh, all right. Woohoo. All right, let's get this thing ready. Here we go. All right. Everybody remembers what the Democrats were predicting back when President Trump first took office for his second term and the talk of trade deals and tariffs first began. Democrats promised a possible economic crash, stock market doom, mass joblessness loss, lost 401ks and savings accounts. It certainly was doom and gloom. Elizabeth Warren. Oh, that's fine. In fact, okay, let me know when I can go.
Go ahead.
All right. Elizabeth Warren was one of the most ridiculous, though she was joined by many other lefties. Well, I mean, she's generally one of the most ridiculous. Fast forward several weeks, and how's it going for the Democrats as a party? As the meme goes, not good, Bob.
So, as you can see,
And they're having to backtrack. They're having,
of course they are.
but
But Chuck's just like he won't even answer questions
But-
about it.
but what can he do other than ignore? You know what? I'm not answering that question. It's a typical political play. I'm not talking about that. Of course, you don't want to talk about it, but it's worked. It's worked for so long. The good thing is as more and more people are waking up, they're seeing the regular same old tactics that it's always been. And so, and as they continue to not work, they're only exposing themselves as being magicians of some sort to try to trick people into following their line of thinking. Now that people are actually coming off of autopilot and they're recognizing, hey, this kind of sucks right now. And it's these same people. They're hearing the lies. They're seeing the tactics and techniques that they use to keep everybody under the ether, but it's not working anymore. I guess the American people have started to build some kind of a resistance to the magic spells that they've been casting on everybody. And that's probably one of the better parts. And as again, more and more people wake up, they're helping others wake up. Otherwise, there would have been absolutely no way that Trump could have defeated the lefties the way he did, even though they were continuing with their plans to drive on.
Right.
But then again, two wings, one bird. I guess the real question is are they just making it more obvious now so that way people are waking up? Is this all by design?
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Would you read that, please?
All right. Let's see. Man with highest IQ in the world explains scientifically why Jesus is alive.
Let's listen.
All right.
Being weird.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Hello, my name is Young Kim, the world's highest IQ record holder. Here is the scientific explanation for why Jesus is alive. Saying Jesus is alive may sound like a religious statement, but it is also supported by scientific reasoning based on historical methodology, eyewitness analysis, and probability theory. First, science relies on this principle of inference to the best explanation. We observe data and ask, what hypothesis best explains all the facts? Here are the key facts nearly all scholars agree on, including secular historians. Jesus was crucified and died. His tomb was found empty. Many people claim to see him alive afterward, individually and in groups. His disciples were radically transformed and willing to die for their belief in his resurrection. We apply scientific reasoning here. Which explanation best fits this data? Mass hallucination. Neurologically impossible across groups. Stolen body. Doesn't explain post-death appearances or disciple transformation. Legend. The timeline is too short. Eyewitness reports were circulating within years, not centuries. Bayesian probability theory shows that when multiple independent lines of evidence converge, the likelihood of the resurrection becomes statistically stronger than any competing hypothesis. In other words, if we treat this event like any historical phenomenon and apply scientific logic, the resurrection emerges as the most probable explanation. Therefore, the statement, Jesus is alive, is not just a theological, it is the best scientific conclusion based on historical and empirical evidence. Thank you.
I'll have to get you that evidence, by the way. That link, hope. Okay. Oh, there we go. You want to try that again? Thoughts. All right, there we go. So, okay, it's great. It's great that this man has been able to prove for himself, and if he is truly the smartest man in the world, or the man with the highest IQ, more than likely he doesn't have the ability to communicate with most of the planet, because he's probably just too smart for so many of us. And good for him. That's a gift that was given to him by God, but it's been put on his heart to try to find God in this specific way. And so he's going to logically try to find that evidence, so that way he can help those that he cares about. Look, it is, it is real. But you can provide all the evidence in the world. In the end, it's all about faith. And people don't believe that their religion of science is a religion, or that it requires any faith, especially when people don't even understand how radiocarbon dating works, and why are there so many mistakes with radiocarbon dating, yet they still use that as it's a fact. Well, then why are the rocks so many millions of years old that came out of Mount St. Helens? Why does any of that happen? Do we really understand how that works? Again, it's all based on faith, and that's just one little thing. If it's all faith based, then it's a choice. It's a choice to choose what you believe in. And that choice usually comes down to people making arguments and finding out what that right combination is, to figure out what's going to open somebody's heart to the concept that Jesus and the Bible is even real. People deny the truth that's in the Bible, yet there's tons and tons of archaeological evidence that proves so many stories in the Bible. And you know what? What can you do? I believe that science is actually another way for people to get that connection to God that they were trying to run away from. Because in the end, when you really look deep into science, you see God's fingerprints everywhere. It's just people refuse, that they get cognitive dissonance, and they're holding on to the fact that they're the smartest. They can't be fooled because they're so smart. Sadly, that's a problem. But in the end, as they continue to dig, it's just like every one of us who's a part of and watching the show. Y'all are part of the show, as far as I'm considered. As far as I consider, y'all are just as much a part of the show as we are. And so you did the digging. You wanted to find out because you were seeking the truth. That's a common thread between people who look at conspiracy theories and people who are doing science. They recognize some falsehoods. They recognize things that don't make sense. And so we dig and we dig and we dig until we find out what we can determine makes more sense than the crap that we're getting spoon fed. And same thing with scientists. They recognize that they have questions. God put those questions in their heart. And so eventually, just like the scientists before modern science, they saw how God's fingerprints were absolutely everywhere, how the world or the universe can be made out of laws, and all of this is done by accident without some kind of intelligent design is beyond me. I can't understand that level of what do you even call that? Cognitive dissonance, I guess. Anyways, you know what? We're all on a search, and I'm glad that this man with the highest IQ in the world, he can talk to those people who are brilliant scientists, and he can help them come to the realization as well. And if our scientists can start coming back to the reality that God is there and our creator and the creator of the entire universe, then science will start making the progress that we've always needed science to make. To include medicine. Mike says, Santino, some of us are educated. Some of us are. Some of us are. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
I put that link in there.
Oh, was she asking me for the link?
Yes.
You put it in what?
In the private, so you could put it in Rumble, because I can't get it into Rumble.
You can't get it into Rumble?
No.
What are you talking about? What do you want me to do? Put the link
into your Rumble chat so that they can click on it for that one.
Okay, hold on. Well, this is an X post. I'm going to go straight to the X post here real quick. Copy, paste, send. There you go. All right.
And then can you read that one?
Yeah, as soon as I get back. Where am I? I am here. It's Vegas. Okay, you are here. It's like a mole. All right. Sea Strike says, I found a good dig today called Unschoolia. Very cool thing, and it's the way our future will teach our children. I'll have to check that out. Unschoolia, huh? And then Left Lane says, hey, you don't just have to look at the apostles' record of Jesus. Looks the Roman record. They had one too that proves it just as much. Very true. There's tons of records out there. People just refuse to believe it.
I know.
You know, it's just, you know, they don't want to look at things that would prove themselves wrong is what a
Did
big
you
problem
put
is.
that Rumble video in the chat? Why did you do X?
Because that's what the link it went to.
Okay.
Do we need?
I don't.
Okay, suggestion. All right, Aaron, suggestion. Place all show prep links in a text document before the show airs and drop it in the comments or the episode description. That's a great idea, Aaron. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's actually a great idea. Thank you.
I like that. You ready?
Yeah.
Would you read that, please?
All right. Let's see. Deregulation. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin will revoke the Obama-era endangerment finding.
Let's listen.
Gotta hit play.
I did.
It's not.
I get
Are we having interwebsy things?
I guess so.
Well, you want to refresh?
Happened back in the Obama administration, 2009, was that they put forward this regulation called the endangerment finding. Now, a lot of people are out there listening. They might not know what the endangerment finding is. If you were asked congressional Democrats to describe what it is, the left would say that it means that carbon dioxide is a pollutant. Carbon dioxide is an endangerment to human health. They might say methane is a pollutant. Methane is an endangerment to human health. And that's an oversimplified, I would say, inaccurate way to describe it. The way they did this was following a Supreme Court case in Massachusetts versus EPA. And the Obama administration said that carbon dioxide, when mixed with a bunch of other well-mixed gases, the greenhouse gases, that it contributes to climate change. How much, they don't say. It's more than zero. And they say that climate change endangers human health. So because of these different mental leaps, and by the way, when it's carbon dioxide mixed with all these well-mixed gases, they were only looking at mobile sources like vehicles, but a bunch of those greenhouse gases aren't even emitted from vehicles. Now, why does all of this matter? Like right out of the gate here, we're getting very wonky on like what this regulation means. Well, then there were all sorts of different vehicle regulations that followed.
So this is like the endangerment finding in and of itself is the hub to the spoke of the left's environmental agenda, essentially.
So this has been referred to as basically driving a dagger into the heart of the climate change religion. Like there are people who care. I mean, most Americans, we care about the environment. We want clean air, land, and water. Conservatives love the environment, want to be good stewards of the environment. There are people who then, in the name of climate change, are willing to bankrupt the country. In the name of environmental justice, they will get tens of billions of dollars appropriated to their friends rather than actually remediating environmental issues. So they created this endangerment finding, and then they were able to put all these regulations on vehicles, on airplanes, on stationary sources to basically regulate out of existence, in many cases, a lot of forms of segments of our economy. And it costs Americans a lot of money. What's the significance? How big is the endangerment finding? Well, repealing it will be the largest deregulatory action in the history of America. So it's kind of a big deal.
Thoughts?
All right. So these are the things that need to happen. We've all known that climate change was a scam. It was a scam from the get-go. It was Al Gore blowing a lot of hot air, telling us about how everything we're doing are the problems, even though there was evidence about a volcano spews out more in 1 hour than the rest of the planet does with all of the airplanes and cars and everything. It's a bunch of ridiculousness that they've been trying to spoon feed us, and we've all been aware that their people are the ones that always seem to end up on top. The government subsidies always go to their friends, and then they always seem to end up getting richer and richer and richer as they push more and more of this global climate change scam. And then we recognize with the data that they were using that NOAA itself, and this is why NOAA got funded, because they were fudging the numbers. They got caught fudging the numbers. It was lies built upon lies, built upon lies. And that was the only way they could keep their fraud going on, so they could steal the American taxpayers' hard-earned dollars. So yeah, good. I'm glad it's over. People will stop. The people who have been screwing us over, BlackRock, Vanguard, et cetera, the East India Trading Company, you know who we're talking about here. Those companies will have to actually earn their money for a change, as opposed to using government corruption to screw over the American people, so that way they can have all of these things built for their own enjoyment and entertainment. You know what? Screw them. Make them live in their nuclear bunkers that they bought, and don't ever let them out. Go for it. You built it. You go to it. We'll deal with the planet, and it will be dealt with a lot better than all the crap that you were trying to force upon us, like your stupid windmills that kill all sorts of wildlife. We can't do anything about it because you used all of the worst chemicals to make the stupid air fans. It's just, you know what? No, we need to be done with it, and it needs to be over. Mike says, government says we have a hole in our ozone. Oh, no, ozone is a gas. How can you have a hole in gas?
Mike,
There
you're
you
too
go.
smart for the government.
There you go again, being logical.
Yeah.
Hope says, I think our government is just full of a whole lot of gas. Boy, that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then how does PETA plan to ethically exterminate all of the cattle so that way we can save the environment from their methane?
Yeah, I know.
Like how do you humanely exterminate animals? I mean, from what I understand, they're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Anyways, lots of
Ready?
practice, I guess.
I mean, they're just ridiculous.
It is what it is.
I know.
But it's coming to an end.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Yay.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Would you read that, please?
Yes. There we go. It is right. Okay. A day in the life. Dude accepted every single DoorDash order for 12 hours straight, and he probably didn't make a dime.
Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
I just accepted every single DoorDash order for 12 hours straight. Started around 8 a.m. and ended around 9:15 p.m. on a Monday in the Virginia Beach area. I was dashing for about 12 hours and 10 minutes. I was active for 9 hours and 56 minutes. I put 221 miles on my 2009 Subaru Forester. My earnings before taxes, wear and tear, gas, insurance, etc. was $215. My biggest tip was $14.25 from a Food Lion grocery order, and my smallest tip was $3 from a Starbucks order. And I took 30-minute breaks between 10:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. and 3:45 p.m. and 4:15 p.m. I'm tired as hell, and my car needs a tune-up badly now.
Thoughts?
The whole delivery thing was a scam to begin with, and we've recognized that they pick and choose who they want to do good. They pick and choose who gets the good orders, who gets the bad orders. They'll throw stuff out there, and it's garbage. We tried it. It's not everything that they make it want to sound like. At the beginning, when Uber was brand new, there was very specific groups of people that always seemed to get the jobs and everything, and they weren't letting other people get even so much as the opportunity with which to do Uber or any of those. It's always been a scam. They've been screwing over the restaurants. They've been screwing over the grocery stores as much as they can, but they're too big to really to take it in the shorts like the small restaurants are. They've made it so that it's changed the face of all of this. In the end, you're better off going to get your own groceries, because 9 times out of 10, the people don't know how to pick a vegetable. The people don't care about putting a bowling ball on top of the eggs and the bread. It's just,
or the chips,
or the chips, not a bowling ball, but the watermelon on top of, the eggs and the bread and the chips. They don't care. It's generally not that good. So you are better off doing it all on your own. It may save time. It may cost not a whole lot much more money. I think it does cost a little bit more than what you'd be paying otherwise. But really, they're screwing over each and every one of those people. It's not a good deal. And again, we're giving over our money to BlackRock, Vanguard, et cetera, for convenience, ease.
Yeah.
But in the end, it just causes more frustration than it's worth. I know the people out there are trying their best and they're doing what they can. And maybe it might work better than, getting a cab or something like that. But in the end, sometimes these conveniences aren't very convenient. Their solutions aren't solutions for you and I. Their solutions are solutions for themselves. Aaron says, no, it isn't a scam. It's a service like a plumber. But yeah, it's being run by corrupt shitheads. Yeah, I agree with that. I know people who do it privately, locally, and build their own network of those without vehicles or the medical issues, and they're doing okay. And that's the thing is you can only ever do okay. As a generality at best, you can do okay. Aaron says, I wish I could call in and we could talk that way. It sucks your show isn't all of us standing in a big barn with tables and food and such. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Carol says, my friend Paul just made diamond level at Uber. He loves doing it. That's good. He lives in New Jersey. And you know what? That might work out well. Some places are probably better than others. I've seen people that stick to small areas, especially if they can just ride their bike to various places because they don't have the outlay for the. Well, not on the strip, but like I know that in some of the downtown parts of San Diego, LA, those bigger cities, I've also seen people run mopeds. Those seem to be doing pretty good too. And especially when your profits are tied to gas prices, which suck out here in the West. But I digress. Anyways, Aaron says, I had a friend in Chicago that was doing it and she was diamond level. She's broke now, no rental, no money. And yeah, they ran her like a rented mule. It can happen, but I know that people can do well.
Yeah.
It all depends on how it works out for each and every individual.
Exactly. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please? Be careful when you're reading.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Paul Thomas says, the more jabs you've had, the worse you were.
Let's listen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you know.
Being weird.
Poof, you work.
The CDC has never done any study comparing one year to the next. They've never compared the full vaccine schedule to no vaccines or to partial vaccines. They just don't do that. We looked at every single patient born into my practice up to the point of that data set being closed. We had 10 and a half years of data. It was published in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health. And this was the largest real world patient data, vaxxed, unvaxxed.
So then, to be clear, what you decided to do was, okay, but I do have a large group of children in my practice that use the CDC schedule. So I have all of the evidence that they provided. And then I have the other ones in my practice that didn't use the CDC schedule. And I can compare the two schedules that way. Is that basically what you decided to do?
Well, close. So we were definitely looking at every single patient born in my practice. There was no cherry picking. There was no, we're going to exclude you for this or that. Every baby born was looked at, and we looked at every single office visit. We stratified them according to the number of vaccines they had.
Okay.
So basically we had over 500 who had 0 vaccines. And then we had another 3,700 and some who had some vaccines. And what we found, Del, was actually even mind-boggling for myself. I mean, I had a sense, I've had a practice now for 14 years where parents get to decide. The one thing I am absolute on is informed consent. You, the parent, get to decide what gets injected into your baby, if anything. You should always insist on that or else walk out of that doctor's office. But because we do informed consent, we had a growing number of unvaccinated patients. And what I was clearly seeing was these kids don't get sick. They don't get chronic conditions. Well, the data spoke for itself. and you're showing your viewers the
Here it
graphs.
is.
Those
Yeah.
orange lines are over time, over that 10.5 years, the more vaccines you had, the worse you were for whether we looked at infections, ADD, ADHD, neurodevelopmental issues, eczema, allergies. It doesn't matter what we looked at, even just plain old anemia skyrockets in the vaccinated when compared to the blue line, the unvaccinated.
Wow.
This data is so powerful that within 5 days of it being available online, they yanked my license. December 3rd, 2020, the Oregon Medical Board had an emergency meeting, suspended my license. I was supposedly a threat to public health.
Thoughts?
What a surprise. You know, you speak up, and this is one of the things that's truly frustrating is that there are so many doctors out there that are trying to do the right thing, and they probably, like he was doing, giving informed consent, but Lord forbid you put an article out in a peer-reviewed journal and look what happens. All of a sudden, doors get shut, you lose your license, all of these bad things happen. What are you supposed to be able to do with that? It's really sad. And I support the doctors out there that are really trying, but how can they actually come together and still keep their practice and speak the truth? Because I know that it hurts so many of them to not be able to speak up. There's a lot of doctors that can't speak up, and for so many reasons. These are the things that need to be fixed, but we got to take the ultra profit out of all of this stuff first. And this is why we're hoping that RFK Jr. is going to be able to fix a lot of things. And there's been, more and more news articles coming out about how there was even an article today posted on Liberty Daily about how, surprise, surprise, Big Pharma isn't there to cure any diseases.
We have that.
Oh, do we have that? Oh, okay. So we'll be showing that here in a little bit. So surprise. Just in case you didn't know, they don't care about your health. They care about continuing. What is it? Recurring revenue stream. Yeah, that's what they want. It's a recurring revenue stream.
They need customers, not cured people.
Yeah, because cured people don't need their wizardry and witchcraft.
Mhm.
Snake oil.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
Liberty says many years ago when people decided to have last names, his ancestors said, well, I have a big tree, so that will be my last name. Actually, it's kind of a cool name. Whatever. But wouldn't surprise me that they weren't, directly tied to that. That'd be interesting. Aaron says this country was built on a basic set of really damn good laws and agreements made between individuals. If there isn't an agreement, then all hell can break loose, and a lot of people are lazy. Yeah, a lot of people have forgotten that everything is an agreement, especially when it comes to people taking your life into their hands.
Yeah.
And informed consent is extremely, extremely important.
Yeah.
Not saying that Big Pharma doesn't have good things, that there aren't good procedures, because I know they're out there. I know that there's great doctors everywhere. I know that there's great people in the pharmaceutical industry that are truly trying to help. I met an individual when I was working around here. He comes up with things that he ends up selling, and his intent is most assuredly to help people heal from the problems that they have. There are great people out there in the medical industry. So it's difficult. How do we determine who cares and who doesn't? Well, giving informed consent and not immediately trying to push this medication and that medication, every medication on you, and not answering questions. I'm going to say that might not be a doctor. That might be a drug dealer.
Yeah.
But doctors who are trying to find out who you are, what's your history? What makes you run? What makes you tick? What is your life like? Doctors used to do home visits. Why did they do home visits? Because they could tell a lot about why your health is the way it is based off of the way you're living. They'd be able to tell, it's a messy house. Well, it, probably could use some cleaning up, but they probably also understood there's some depression there. And so they would figure out how they could help that patient out because they cared.
Yes.
We need the medical industry to take some pages out of the book before this oil medicine was created. Donnell says, if you're healthy, you don't need pharma.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that too. Let's see. Aaron says, a patient cured is a customer lost. I've heard that on more than one occasion. It's a mask, not a cure. A lot of them are just Band-Aids. They're Band-Aids. And Band-Aids, they don't fix a whole lot.
Yeah.
They fix a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Yeah. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Could you read that, please?
Senator John Kennedy dismisses call for gun control in wake of New York City shooting. Need more idiot control.
Well, you can't explain it, in my opinion, and I think most Americans see the horror that you and I are talking about and that we've seen. There will be some; it's inevitable that they'll go, well, there are two sides to this, and he was mixed up or mentally ill or sick. I just don't want to hear it. I believe that C.S. Lewis was right. I believe that the Bible is right. There is objective evil in this world, and there's absolutely no excuse for this happening. And in terms of how to fix it, let me say it again. We don't need more gun control. We need more idiot control, and that's what we need to be talking.
Thoughts?
This kind of seems like one of those things because the guy came from Nevada, from what I understand. And Senator Kennedy always has a way of explaining things. And there's a lot of weird stuff going on around this. How much do we have about this incident today?
A couple.
A couple?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I'm not going to go too deep into thoughts on any of this, but you know what? That's always the first thing that the left tries to do. Oh, we need more gun control, even though they're losing a lot of these things in the Supreme Court battles. From what I understand, California just got schwacked recently by the Supreme Court. Things are going to have to change, but it really is a mental health issue. It's not a firearms issue.
I know.
Yeah, Kennedy's awesome, Carol. I agree. The news reported there was people that barricaded themselves on the 33rd floor. 33rd. I hear what you're saying.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
How about some Kelly?
All right, we could use some Kelly.
Let's listen.
All righty.
What if I told you you're not stuck, you're just ungrateful? Stick with me. You're not actually trapped in anxiety, and you're not drowning in stress. You just forgot to say thank you. Psalms 100 verse 4 says, we enter his gates with thanksgiving, his courts with praise. You want to get in God's presence, my friends? You don't need a 3-step prayer model. You don't need no prophetic soaking playlist. You need one thing. One. Gratitude. And I'm not talking about that half-hearted thank you for this day prayer we mumble while brushing our teeth. I'm talking about the real stuff. The out of the heart, the mouth shall speak stuff. God, thank you for the breath in my lungs. Thank you for making a way when I can't see any way. Thank you for providing for my family. Thank you that I didn't wreck my car this morning. Thank you that you still love me when I'm a complete idiot. You start thanking, he shows up. You want to know the best part of this whole thing? Stress can't live where God is. Anxiety can't breathe in his presence. Depression gets nervous and fear starts packing. They all have to leave. Not because you're so strong. No. It's because he walked in. And make no mistake about it, if you try to bring any of those chumps in with you, they don't get to stay because they are not authorized to be in God's house. And where does God live exactly? In you. So let me encourage you today. The next time that spiral starts in your mind, don't try and fight harder. Just start thanking for the breath in your lungs, for his grace. Shoot, for the McRib coming back. I don't care. Just thank him. Just thank him. And you just
Don't eat that.
Because the atmosphere is about to change. Stress can't stay in a place that's filled with God's presence. And God always shows up when you say 2 words. Thank you. So again, I say, you're not stuck. You're just one thank you away from freedom. And think about that for a minute.
Man, love Kelly.
Thoughts?
All right. So being thankful is probably one of the greatest things that we can do for ourselves. I just started this practice recently, and I should have been doing this practice a lot longer, but for the sake of honesty, I just started, and that is as soon as I wake up, feet hit the floor, Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for my ability to sit up. Thank you, God, for my feet. Thank you for my legs. Thank you for my ability to stand up and solid hips that are able to hold the weight of what I have going on, to make me strong and capable of so many things. And I work my way up as I brush my teeth. I thank him for my strong teeth, and I thank him for everything from head to toe. I thank him for my house. I may want more and better things in my life, but I'm grateful for the things that I have. And part of it is I know that as I'm grateful for the things that I do have, he is more likely to give me more blessings in my life. But that's not why I should do it. I should be grateful for these things because I have this opportunity, because I have because I have air that can go in and out of my lungs. I am truly grateful for that. I'm grateful for my wife. Life is beautiful. We just have to be grateful for the things that we have. And once we have gratitude for everything that we have, and we realize the amount of blessings that we have, it makes it a lot easier, especially if you've had the chance to go overseas and you see how other people live around the world. We really do have a lot more here in this country. Our poorest people that living at the poverty level are so much more wealthy than people in so many other parts of this world, and we don't recognize it. We are insulated from how wealthy we are because we don't get to see people living in huts made out of some used 2x4s and some corrugated metal. That's how people live. They really do have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of still in so many places in this world. They don't have a toilet. They don't have the running water. We have so many blessings. And as we focus on our blessings, it makes it a lot easier to understand how blessed we really are. And we need to take advantage of those blessings and try to share those blessings with the world around us. But we can't share those blessings if we're not grateful for the things that we have. So, God, thank you for the blessings that all of us have. We may not have so many things that some of the evil people in this world have, but that's because you're teaching them just like you're teaching us. And we know that it's for all of our good and our betterment. Thank you. Thank you, Silver. I appreciate that. These comments are going crazy right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to work.
Uh-oh, what's going on? Okay, Mike says, from someone that has died twice, I thank God for waking up every day. Amen, Mike. Amen.
Silver has a question.
Did you have a near-death experience either time? I think Mike is psychic, to tell you the truth.
I know.
Or what we would call a psychic. I think
Yeah.
he's been filled with the Holy Spirit personally.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, Mike is, I don't know, just.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. There's something special about Mike. Super special.
Yeah. And not like special.
No, not saying. We're moving on after that. I'm trying to give the man a compliment.
I was too. I was just clarifying your compliment.
Okay.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Would you read that, please?
Yes. Let's see. The shocking link between central banks and mass death finally explained.
Let's listen.
All right. If we can get it to work.
I know.
What is computering today?
I don't know what's computering today.
May I ask you, since you brought up the First World War and we're on the cusp of a war right now, potentially a global war, what is the view of war by the banks? Like, what do the banks think of it? You've described the banks as the single greatest control mechanism of human behavior in a society, I think.
Particularly the central banks, because they have the
bigger the bank, the more the power, but their power extends beyond just like their relationships with other banks. Their power like determines a lot of what happens in your country.
Yeah.
And they're not under the control of voters, right? So it's an extra democratic institution, which happens to be the most powerful, which is like crazy. I'd love to know how that happened, but how do they feel about war?
Well, central banking and warfare are very closely linked. As I said, I mean, the modern major bank, the first modern major bank and central bank was the Bank of England, of course. And in the very act of parliament, the law founding it, it says this institution and mechanism because they didn't want resistance. They don't mention Bank of England. What we're doing here is establishing the Bank of England. They kept that secret. We're doing a mechanism, a new mechanism by these investors to raise and lend a lot of money to the government, namely by establishing a company. Will be allowed to establish a company. That's the Bank of England. In order for what? In order to wage war. It was in order to make war. So they're closely linked. And of course, if you look
in
at
its founding document, it says that.
In exactly the Act of Parliament establishing the Bank of England, it said the purpose is to make war. Do you know why the Federal Reserve was established? And there was a rush to establish it for 1914.
The year the First World War started.
Exactly.
Destroyed Europe.
Yeah. And again, it was done with subterfuge. I mean, they're gathering everyone on the 23rd of December, 1913, when nobody was there. And then also introducing income tax. That's also the Bank of England. It was established together in the same act, calling for establishing new taxes. Why? Because when you have these central banks, privately owned central banks established, it's basically this trick where these entrepreneurs persuade the government, oh, you don't want to make, you don't want to issue money. Issuing money, we'll issue money for you. What? That's what they're essentially saying without being so direct about it. But that's what they want to persuade governments to give up the power to create money themselves. We'll do it for you, and we'll lend you the money. And henceforth, well, how do we get our money back? Well, we love to lend to the government because you can raise taxes. And that's why taxes were introduced. The federal income tax didn't exist before the creation of the Fed. It was also created in 1940.
So you couldn't have one without the other?
Well, whenever a central bank is created, they introduce new taxes, one way or another. Yes.
And the central bank of the United States, the Fed, was created right before the war. I mean,
yes,
and right before the war,
exactly.
2 months before the war. What was the role of the central banks during that war? The most important war in the last 1,000 years.
Yeah, well, it was really at the pinnacle of the war economy. There's no doubt about that. It's very clear. And the same is true, of course, for the other side. And now from 1917, the US and Germany were at war, which is very sad. A lot of Americans are of German descent, and Germans didn't really want to be at war with Germany, but that's what happened. So we've got these two countries at war, sad, the soldiers dying in the trenches, and their economies organized as war economies. At the pinnacle of the war economies are the central banks. So who were the key players in the German central bank, the Reichsbank, which was 100% privately owned? Was somebody called Max Warburg, or Max Warburg, you might say in English. And who was at the pinnacle, in fact, was a founder of the Federal Reserve, and who was the key person there? It was somebody called Paul Warburg, his brother. But of course, the soldiers have to kill each other, and these two countries are at war.
Wait. The head of the German central bank and the head of the American central bank were run by brothers during a war between the U.S. and Germany?
Yes. Now, I have to qualify. They weren't the formal governors, but they were the key people.
Did anyone notice this?
Well, some people did. I mean,
probably encouraged not to notice that.
With Paul Warburg, it was obvious because until 1911, he was a German citizen. He'd only just come over for that purpose to set up the Fed. And he was speaking, half German, basically, when he spoke English. So, it wasn't... if you were looking for some details, you'd quickly find this.
How did the brothers do during the war? Were they destroyed? Were their fortunes taken away?
Oh, no. Of course, Max Warburg stayed in power at the Reichsbank. He was the one who signed off on Hitler's proposed head of the central bank, even in the 1930s. It was also Max Warburg still.
They were those, I can't believe brothers were at.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Those banks.
Yes. And of course, I don't want to just, pinpoint the Warburg family, but, there's other families, and there's many families. There's JP Morgan, and they're of various backgrounds and ethnic backgrounds and whatever. But the principle is we do have...
that it's an inside game.
Well, yeah, bankers, particularly those that are close to central banks and maybe are private owners of these central banks. And the Reichsbank was 100% privately owned. And, When I mentioned Keynes, when he became a director, he must have been an owner of this privately owned central bank, because they have these rules. If you're a leading person, well, you must be a leading shareholder. That's how it works. So now I just want to give you the other example of to prove this point that you don't need to have a crisis and a recession even when the banks are bust. Because the second key example is 1945, Japan. Even Japan. So the Bank of Japan knew very well how to get out of these problems, because in 1945 it was much worse. The banks were 100% bust. They were lending to the government, East Asian Greater Prosperity bonds, basically war bonds of a country just defeated. You could trade them in the flea market for almost nothing. And secondly, forced munition loans to the military industry, most of which was also bankrupt or was not even in Japan any longer, because the country of Japan shrank a lot, right, after 45. The whole of Manchuria, no longer under Japanese influence. Yes. Taiwan and Korea were intrinsic parts of Japan until 1945 for half a century.
Philippines, Vietnam.
Of course, these were added during the Second World War, but Korea and Taiwan were already for 50 years were part of Japan.
1905.
Exactly. So, so these banks were bust because all these loans had no value. It's like 100% non-performing loans. What do? Is 1945 a good moment to have a big banking crisis and long recession? No, because they had bigger problems. Most cities were devastated by these incendiary bombs and the carpet bombing of civilians, also like in Germany. So then you don't want a banking crisis and recession. What do? You don't need to have one. The central bank buys the non-performing assets at face value, and the problem is solved. And that's what they did. So you can't tell me the Bank of Japan didn't know what to do.
Thoughts?
It's almost like our founding fathers were leery of central banks and banks in general for a reason. What? Craziness, I tell you. Why would our founding fathers not want a central bank? Because they knew that's what was starting all of the wars. They were taking advantage of people's desire for mammon. And then they take full advantage of it every single time, because the majority of people want to have more than what they have, because they see other people have more than what they have. And then that envy kicks in, and then they start taking advantage of all of the 7 deadly sins as we spiral into this want, me, ego driven everything. That's what causes this. If our money was real, if it was commodity based off of gold, silver, our natural resources that we have here, then we might not have as many of these problems. But when we have bankers around the world, and you know what? They're good at what they do. I will give them that. Congratulations. Y'all are great at taking advantage of people's greed, and they just happy to give you their money as you give them fake money. So you know what? You're great at what you do. I wish you weren't as good as you are at making people love money so much. But you know what? Hey, it works. So whose responsibility is it? Is it their responsibility to be better people, or is it our responsibility not to fall in line with the same tricks that they've been using that has brought wars throughout Europe forever and ever? They're all related. They're all royals. They're all the same. It's up to us. We aren't royals. We shouldn't even want to be royals. They do weird stuff. Really weird stuff. We don't need to do that because it doesn't make our life any better. We need to live according to the way we know we should be living, and that's trying to help the people out around us, our community. That's what's supposed to be important. And when we aren't focused on our community, guess what? We let the people that are outside of our community determine what should be happening with our money. So what can we do? Well, be better communities. Stop worrying about keeping up with the Joneses. And who the hell are the Joneses anyway? Actually, there's a story for that. They were in New York City back in the day, but I digress. Anyways, so stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. It's not that great. It's only a never-ending hollow existence to try to keep up with other people that have their hearts shut down.
Yeah.
What's really important in life? Our children. I mean, unless you're Conan, then it's to crush your enemy, see him driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women. But none of us are really Conan around here.
Are you sure?
Well, I mean, there might be one or two. Who knows? But the point is, we need to focus on the things that are truly important in life, and chasing money and stuff and things is a hollow existence, and it's what leads to things like Epstein Island.
Mm-hmm.
Because people get it in their mind that I need money, and that's kind of where the rabbit holes lead to, I think, is what so many of us have found out. So be thankful that you're not in that world, and don't try to live like them. Don't envy them. Don't envy them. But they're not all that bad. Not every rich person is bad. I don't want to turn this into a Occupy Wall Street kind of thing, because it's not the case. There are good people of extreme wealth. They're just the ones we don't hear about. They're the ones that are working silently in the background, trying to make sure that they're taking care of their families and the people that are under their care. They understand that they're kings and queens of their kingdom and queendoms. And that is the businesses that they own and that they run. And they understand that the people that work for them are in their charge, and that their power and wealth is there for those people. And I've seen plenty of rich people that are like that, and they're great people. So don't do broad brushstrokes, but understand that some of these international bankers really do care about profit more than anything else. And guess what? They win the game every time. Of course, they encourage war. There's a lot of money to be made in war profiteering. That's why it's such a big business. But we don't have to support them. We don't have to support them by not playing their game.
Yeah.
Or playing their game the least amount as possible. Barter and trade is something that they really can't overcome now, is it? Other than to tell us we're not allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Well, good luck tracking that one.
Yeah.
But then again, the government doesn't care if you barter and trade. There's always loopholes to get around. Business people do trades all the time. It's okay for us to do trades and barters as well. C-Strike says, I read today on X we are getting a historic tax rebate of $1,200 per family next week. See what happens. You know, I'm along the lines of Mr. Wonderful, the guy that was on Shark Tank. He says, no, we need to pay off the deficit. I think that money would be better spent on the deficit. I don't know. I mean, would an extra $1,200 be nice? Yeah. But at the same time, we're stealing from our children. We're eating our children by not paying off this deficit. We got to get this thing under control.
Yeah.
And rebate checks aren't necessarily going to be in our best interest. Think longer term.
It would help.
It would help. It would help. But we're surviving. And so, whatever. Anyways, C-Strike, it is coming eventually, I'm sure. Tariffs and drilling are making us rich. That's another thing. There's going to be some real wealth coming here soon. And it'll be a lot better when we don't owe the bankers all the money. Let's see. Liberty says, I read 1,600, then I also read 2,500. Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? We'll see.
We will see. Hold on. What did Aaron say? Do we need to pay off the demons or stop their demonicism and slavery? You know, the dollar is pretty much worthless. It's worth less than a penny of what it actually, the face value should be. They made the money worthless. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. And then go to real money and say, well, you know what? We don't need you anymore. And the thing is if we don't pay them off, they have plenty of other countries that would most assuredly do whatever they can for money. And yeah, it might be better if we just give them their worthless paper back. Here you go. Have fun. I don't know. Personal opinion. I'm not an economist. I could be wrong. Liberty says, bite your tongue. I've been struggling for 4 years now. They could pay off a deficit with the damn gold in Fort Knox if it's still there. That last part, I believe, is the key point there. I don't think there's any gold in Fort Knox. And I understand it's just one person's opinion. And I know a lot of people are barely subsisting, barely keeping the lights on. I know we're struggling out here. The rents keep going up, the groceries keep going up, the gas keeps going up. There's no money for doing anything other than merely trying to survive. I know how it feels, and we've been playing this game for a long time. I feel for each of you, and you know what? If they do give us checks, it's because it's supposed to be. I would like to not be under their thumb anymore, but it'll all play out exactly the way it needs to.
Yeah.
Carol says, I would still greatly appreciate a check. Me too. We've been cheated out our whole working life. That's the problem, is we have been cheated out of our whole working life. And I think that by seizing assets like BlackRock and Vanguard, who utilized our tax dollars to enrich themselves and using our tax dollars, I think those companies should be seized personally. And I think that we should own that wealth. And I think that all of the houses that they own and all that other stuff, I think those things actually belong to us.
Yeah.
A lot of things could be fixed if President Trump could just get the things done that he needs to get done. And I know this is why everybody's excited about Epstein, information coming out. This is why all of this information needs to come out. But we'll see how it happens as time goes on. But I promise you, I'm not going to complain if the money, if we get a check. And I know so many people need that. So yeah, it's not personal. It's just sometimes it's hard to think bigger picture when you're just trying to keep food on the table and gas in the car so you can go to your slaving job and get your pay.
Yeah.
I know. Taking care of business. Anyways, Silver says, I want all my taxes back. It's unconstitutional. I agree with that too. Liberty says, I read 630 big military planes hauled gold from the Vatican. I've heard planes full of gold. Yeah, I've heard that we got our gold from England. I don't know how much of that is true. There's all sorts of rumors and everything. I'll believe a lot of that stuff when I see it, kind of thing. Thanks, Sea Strike. Let's see. Silver says the fiat debt might go poof when we move to the new system through the Treasury. And I think that we are going to pay them back their fake money. Give them their fake money. And then, you know what? Okay, now we've decided that we don't need you anymore because we don't owe you anything. And we don't want your, third, fourth bank of the United States, Jackson got rid of you. That's why you're spiking the football by putting them on the 20. I get it. But in the end, we're going to win. God wins every time. We just have to turn to God.
Yep.
But he's given us the bankers, the international bankers, to be our adversary because, well, we turned our face from him. So he might turn his face from us.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Could you read that, please?
Yes. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro is cutting through sanctuary city red tape in D.C. to nab illegals.
Let's listen.
If we can get it to play.
I know.
There we go. And go. And go.
I know.
Go.
I don't know what's going on with the internet today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney in D.C., and we are prioritizing the president's executive
All right, and now the sound went away. What on earth is going on?
order to.
Okay, we're going to go to the next video.
All right, so apparently Justice Jeanine is out there in D.C. fixing some things, making sure that all of the crap laws that they have over there in D.C. Aren't going to allow them to have their invading army here any longer.
Would you go ahead and read that one?
RFK Jr. says there's zero incentive for big pharma to make vaccines safe. Oops, said the word. Oh, well.
I mean, those companies, we have a free market system in this country, and part of that is that there's consequences if you make a bad product. And, vaccines are particularly exempt from that because there's no free market economy. Normally, if you get poisoned by Coca-Cola, you can stop drinking Coca-Cola. But if you get poisoned by a vaccine, your kids still have to take that vaccine to get into the school. If your doctor tells you your child will die because, you can look and see what happened to elder siblings, there's some kind of genetic vulnerability that's affected the older siblings, and the doctor wants to tell you your third child should not take this vaccine, he's going to be punished for that. And also the schools won't let you go to school no matter what. So in New York and California, there's
Oh,
not only
no.
no
They
religious
won't be able to go to
exemptions, there's no
school.
philosophical exemptions, but there also effectively is no medical exemption. So these kids, it's mandated, and because it's mandated, there's no market forces that tell you, that allow you, if you don't like the product, if you have reservations about it, you can't stop using it. You got to take it anyway. So the things that, and then, you know, you have, of course, the mainstream media is bought and brain dead when it comes to these issues. They will not criticize, they will not report vaccine injury. The Congress is very with the so you have none of the market forces that apply and make other products safe. There is zero incentive for these companies to make them safe. And they don't get punished for it in the market. They don't get punished for it in the court. And so, you know, what we're going to try to do is to make sure that the parents who do get injured get compensation, that they get it very quickly, and they get it without the kind of adversarial impediments that have now been erected over the past 40 years.
Thoughts?
No, I think my comment there kind of hit the nail on the head. Oh no! If I don't poison my kids, you mean they can't go to indoctrination camp? Oh, shucks! Wow, how will we ever do well? Interesting. You know, these are the things that are getting fixed, and these are the things that we should be focusing on in terms of the positive movements that are happening, because they are making it so that way you aren't forced to take some medication. You have no idea what's in there. Apparently, they're filled with aluminum and mercury, all of these things that they tell us are so bad and we shouldn't even use topically, and then they put it in a vaccine.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But what I can say is the previous report that we had, where the guy said the doctor that showed that his patients that got everything were much more unhealthy than those who got nothing. Well, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So, you know what? It's probably a blessing to say you can't go to this, you know, school. Of course, schools are getting fixed now too. You know, I heard there's an article about that today.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, you know, you got to do something bad to have something worse happen. Come on.
Right. You ready?
Whatever. Yeah, I'm ready.
Would you read that, please?
All right. Flashback. Diabolical depopulationist Bill Gates tells Trump not to investigate vaccine safety.
Let's listen.
Then the second time I saw him was
The words are
March
ridiculous.
after that, so March 2017 in the White House. In both of those two meetings, he asked me if vaccines weren't a bad thing, because he was considering a commission to look into ill effects of vaccines. And somebody, his name is Robert Kennedy Jr., was advising him that vaccines were causing bad things. And I said, no, that's a dead end. That would be a bad thing. Don't do that.
Dead end. Have a feeling that was the key word. Nope, that's a dead end. Yep, you don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
They always have that special way of double speak. The dog whistle, as the left always loves to accuse the Republicans of doing. Yeah, well, I mean, they do it too, but most certainly do the people who are all on TV. I'd say it's everybody who's on TV. Not everybody, but a lot of the people on TV. And you know, he was the same guy that said that we'll necessarily need to reduce the population by 2 billion people. These are not accidents. He says these things on purpose. I don't know why he got in charge. Oh, wait, that's right. He's tied to the Rockefeller family through blood, and he was given a multi-billion-dollar company because he plays the game well, et cetera, et cetera. Why we even listen to that guy, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Chop says it was $5,000 earlier this year when people had hope with Doge. No one is coming to save you. Prepare accordingly. I agree with you, Chops. Darn it, I need to keep going back to PILD more often. And I agree with you 100% there. don't rely on other people. It's not good to rely on other people, to include the government. Boy, all you have to do is ask how many veterans as to why you shouldn't put your hope in the promises they make. If you ever wanted to know whether or not you could trust the government, ask the Native Americans. Ask them how well they keep their contracts. Those are things that, kind of still happen to this very day. And when people like Bill Gates have the money that they have to put the politicians in place, well, then it kind of makes sense that you really don't want to put your faith and hope in an organization that's built around money.
Right?
Anyway.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's listen.
If you can.
The biggest problem in the church today is there is little to no true fear of God. We live in a day when everybody's trying to be sensitive. Well, what about being sensitive to God? Woke churches, apostate churches, apologizing for what God said, tolerance of sin instead of repentance of sin. Until we see reformation in the church with a return to the fear of the Lord, there can be no revival in the streets. Do you fear God? Do you revere God? Do you honor God? Do you regard God? Fear of the Lord is the beginning. It's the beginning of your life. It's the beginning of your marriage. It's the beginning of your parenting. It's the beginning of your family. It's the beginning of your business. It's the beginning of your ministry. If the fear of the Lord is not the beginning, eventually it all falls and crumbles and topples.
Thoughts?
There's a lot of those woke churches. And I know that some of those churches are actually trying to get people to turn to God, and some of those churches are definitely trying to tell people it's okay. You can be who you are. And it's really not the way it works if you actually read the book. And this is why I'm so adamant about, go to the book, get it yourself, get the information yourself to understand what he really wants. And I can appreciate that, some of these woke churches are trying to get people to turn to God, but they're doing them a disservice if they're telling them it's okay. And I understand about life's addictions and how difficult it can be. But that's the point of all of this in terms of turning over to God is he's the one that helps you get through these things. It's not something that we can just accept. It's a nice, cushy feeling to think, oh, you know what? I can keep doing what I'm doing, be a sinner from, Monday through Saturday and, a sinner Monday through Saturday and holy on Sunday, or at least for a couple hours anyway. It doesn't take people long to go right back to whatever it is they're doing. It's about going to the book. That's the best thing you can do. And turning to God. And the only way to really turn to him is to understand and know his word.
What?
It's just, it's based off of my understanding. I could be wrong. Go to the book and figure it out yourself.
Well, there you go. Have it. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you read that?
Which part?
Right here.
Okay. China's livid about it. Chris Cappy exposes DARPA's deadliest secret weapon tech.
Let's watch.
I doubt that, but okay.
A lot of times the weapons that we have, timeline wise, 30 years, you kind of see something like, whoa. And you typically see it first in a movie, right? And you say, that looks a little too realistic, right? What was a movie that Will Smith did with the robots?
iRobot.
Yeah, you're like, was Musk the executive producer of iRobot? Obviously, no. But iRobot came out when? 21 years ago. Holy shit. 20 years later,
God.
Musk is talking about that they're going to be deploying robots and making 10 million, 20 million, 30 million at $30,000, right? With the robots. What is in store? What's being built that's just an insane thing DARPA's got that the rest of us don't know about, that maybe it's been leaked?
There's a couple of really cool toys that they're working on. One of them, it almost doesn't look cool, but it's probably the thing that scares China the most, which is the Typhon launcher. It looks not cool at all. It looks like a truck from Walmart going down the street. but this thing fires a friggin' Tomahawk cruise missile, and you can basically bring it wherever. It's terrifying because you can just roll up a truck somewhere in the Philippines, which, by the way, they've now stationed these. They have a range of over 1,000 kilometers, and
they have a range of 1,000 kilometers.
Yeah, they can hit China. They've stationed them in the Philippines. It's the first time this has happened. This is a brand new weapon system, and they're long-range missile systems, and they're now within range of China. China's absolutely livid about it.
How do you know that?
They put out their foreign minister puts out all these press releases being like, stop doing that. Stop putting missiles within range of our country.
Wow.
You're destabilizing the whole region, is their words. That's what they're saying. But these things are freaking crazy. They remind me of how there was those container attacks in both Iran and in Russia where those drones came out and attacked. It's like weaponization of containers are terrifying. The other piece of equipment that I think is really, really cool is the B-21 bomber, which is going to replace the B-2. The amount of billions of dollars that they're pumping into this is...
What's special about this guy?
It's like a B-2, but longer range and stealthier. It's going to basically be able to drop those bunker busters over China and avoid enemy air defense.
Looks pretty cool. It's like you want one of those in our hangar, Rob. With that hanger we have in the back. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? We put in the hanger. How much are these? Can I go to Walmart and buy one of these? Or is there like a Amazon? Do they sell these? How much would something like this go for? What do they put into this?
Oh, that's a good question.
Rob, can you find out what they put into a B2?
Billions of dollars.
$700 million per aircraft.
Oh my God, per. Wow. 700 to including enforcement, procurement, operation fleet. At least 100 bombers. It's estimated to be around $203 billion over 30 years, according to the Air Force. So we're spending $203 billion on 100 of these. Why do you need 100 of them?
They need to be able to make sure that the enemy thinks that there's no chance in hell that they could beat us.
That's it.
It's a deterrent.
How do you feel about it?
Military tech, it gets me going. Yeah,
All
I feel good about it.
Okay. All right. So are you pretty optimistic about the future?
I actually am. Yeah. I'm hopeful for the future. I think I'm hopeful that all of these conflicts that we talked about today will be resolved in a peaceful fashion. I'm hopeful that we've been doing it since the end of World War II. We've found a way to not blow ourselves and each other up. So I'm confident that the next generation will do the same.
You know what's the number one way to show optimism to the world?
How's that?
By having babies.
I completely understand what you
You're
mean.
not optimistic. Don't have any kids, man. Because if you have any kid, you're saying, hey, man, the future better look bright for my kids for me to be having kids, right? If you don't, it's a very different way of looking at it.
Hi, I'm Chris Cappy. You probably know me from the
Capuletto.
Thoughts?
Wasn't that one of the Capulets and the Montagues?
I don't know.
Romeo and Juliet?
I don't know.
Anyways, all right. So just FYI, let me go ahead and share the Google Earth. And this is Taiwan. And this is, 617. It goes up to like 621, but it jumps around too much. There's Wuhan, China right there. The 621 miles covers quite a bit of China. And of course, South Korea and Japan would most certainly be within that kind of range. And Lord knows that we share all sorts of fancy kit with those countries. And that's just the stuff we're telling them about. If we actually had to go to war with China, there would be all sorts of nifty new fireworks that people had never even considered. We heard a little bit of that saber rattling from Russia, where they were saying they had some kind of a typhoon, or not typhoon, but a tsunami kind of bomb, which, when you consider that most of the world's cities and population are within 5 to 10 miles of an ocean coast, that could certainly cause a lot of problems with a weapon like that. Countries are working on fancy weapons all the time. China has, even to this day, they're trying to catch up, even though Clinton gave a whole bunch of nuclear secrets to the Chinese, and that's just open information. I think everybody knows that. And it's, they're still trying to play catch up with AI. That's why Trump is pulling all of our computer stuff back, because it is a strategic asset. There's lots of stuff that China has absolutely no clue about, but these are the things that we actually let them know about. We were working on the Have Blue program, which was the F-117 back in the 50s. We didn't hear about that until the 90s, about 40 years. 40 years before the public even heard about it, and there was already a replacement by the time the next war decided to roll around. Tons of money. The military-industrial complex has all sorts of nifty toes. What do I don't know nothing. I don't know what you're saying, Mike.
That's because Mike's CIA. Don't forget that.
Yeah, right. Anyway, the military-industrial complex, and DARPA's not going to tell anybody about any real stuff that's going on. The kind of stuff that would be happening, we don't know about, but the nifty toys would be broken out. There is a break glass in case of emergency kind of military hardware that very few people know about, that very few people need to be around to run. Countries care about themselves and their ability to move along. Let's see. Liberty says, okay, friends, thanks for the show. See y'all later or tomorrow. Thanks, Liberty. We appreciate you so much, and thanks for the raids. I cannot confirm it tonight. I know, Mike.
We know.
We know.
That's exactly what it's, yeah, you don't say. Anyway, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Would you read that, please?
Yes. FCC commissioner says Trump just shattered the media's chokehold on the narrative.
Let's listen.
By the way,
something really significant is happening right here. And it goes back to President Trump. When he ran for office again, he ran directly at these legacy national broadcasters. And for years, people cowed down to the executives behind these companies.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Here we go again. Oh,
companies based in Hollywood, in New York. And they just accepted that these national broadcasters could dictate how people think about topics, that they could set the narrative for the country. And President Trump fundamentally rejected it. He smashed the facade that these are gatekeepers that can determine what people think. And everything that we're seeing right now flows from that decision by President Trump. And he's winning. I mean, look, PBS has been defunded. NPR has been defunded. CBS is committing to restoring fact-based journalism. And you see it, everything from, Joy Reid is gone at MSNBC. All these things aren't isolated pinpricks. They go back to this emperor has no clothes moment where President Trump stood up to these legacy media gatekeepers, and now their business models are falling apart.
But
as they should be falling apart. Operation Mockingbird was apparently a failure in the long-term scheme of things, but, hey, the truth was eventually going to come out, right? We shall seek the truth, and the truth shall set us free. And that's what's happening. We're being set free because people have been asking for the truth, because they're getting tired of being lied to and paying for these liars to lie to us. The indoctrination from PBS, straight up socialism street. I mean, Sesame Street talks about, things that not every parent agrees with. Hell, I remember when I was a kid, it was like, some of these things don't seem right. Even kids can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom. Anyway, look, they're falling apart. Because the people are turning to God. The people are turning to God, so their house of cards is crumbling. President Trump is there, and he's certainly helping us out and making sure that we're given the best opportunity that we can, that he can, to make sure that we do get our freedom back, that we're not paying for our own demise. And that is done through the indoctrination. And like Mike brought up earlier, the Smith-Mundt Act. It got repealed by Obama, which prevented these clowns from being able to run psychological operations on the people of the United States. Of course, if you listen to the press, they're like, no, that's not what it really means, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? We know better. And we stop listening to them because they lie too much. But the good thing is we don't have to pay for it anymore. And we're having to pay for it less and less. And you know what that means? They're going to have to start changing their business model, at least some.
Yeah.
You know, I've been noticing that some of these newspapers, as we go through Drudge, Kay had noticed that they send some of the articles from today where it's an archive site. Well, it has to go to an archive site because they don't want you to go to their website without going past their paywall. You got to pay to get the news from these places. Yeah. The news. You got to pay for that. Well, no, you just go to an archive site and you can get it for free, in which case then you can see how trash their information really is. Yeah. But you know what? That's because their advertisers don't have the money anymore, because the people that they've been scheming against this whole time, the American people, don't have the money anymore because they're just on subsistence living. And so they can't afford to buy all these things that the advertisers want, people to buy. Mm-hmm. They've screwed themselves, all of them. That's why it's falling apart. Keep not buying from these woke ass companies. Stop buying from BlackRock, Vanguard owned companies because they use it against you. And since we haven't been buying stuff from them, they don't have the ability to run their scam as well as they used to. And therefore, they lose more and more people that are under their ether. We're winning. It may not look like it, but we actually are winning.
Yeah.
Keep doing it, folks. Thank you, C-Strike.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
So, do you want to be healed? So let's go. Get up, pick up your mat, and walk. I can't wait to take you, Jesus. I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. This is how I want to live. Forever we'll be singing like, oh, I'll never get used to this.
Thoughts?
How many of y'all feel like a new time is coming where people are going to be healed? How many of you feel like that as we continue to turn to God, that He will change everything for all of us as we come out of this ether that I've been talking about all night? How many of you feel that that's because we're turning to God and that God will start making more and more of these miracles happen every single day? I don't know why, and I can't tell you why I have that feeling, but I pray that I'm not alone. But I can't get past that feeling that a healing is coming, and not just a healing of our hearts, but that healing of our hearts will also lead to the healers being able to actually break out of the prison that they're in too. I know there's healers everywhere, people that God has anointed to that end, but we just have to get to Him better than we have been. I don't know, but I pray that that's true. Thank you.
You
All right.
ready?
Yes.
Let's listen.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you so hard on yourself? You've been so focused on how far you still have to go that you forgot to look back at how far you've already come. You've survived things you didn't think you'd make it through. You've healed from pain you never thought would end. You know what I'm talking about. You kept showing up, even on the days that you felt like you had nothing left to give. All that strength, all that resilience, that's who you are. That's who you've become. And maybe you're not where you want to be yet, But you're not who you used to be either. Give yourself some credit. Give yourself some grace. You've come too far to start doubting yourself now. So take a breath. Lift up your head. You're doing better than you think. Sometimes you just need to hear stuff like this. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and follow this page. Push all them buttons there on the side of your screen.
Give yourself grace. Remember where you started and where you're going and where you were. Because here's the thing. I say it all the time. I'm not the same person I was yesterday, let alone 5 years ago. You know, one of my favorite motivational speakers is Les Brown. And he says when he runs into people that he hasn't seen in a while, they say, "Man, you've changed. You're not the same person." And he always says, "Yeah, I know. I wouldn't even know who that person is." That's how I feel. I wouldn't even know who that person was. And I'm so happy to be who I am today rather than who I was. And I can tell you one of the things that helps me change even more is being here with you guys. I can tell you that we look forward to this, and it means so much to us to come here and listen and talk to you guys. It's so amazing. We love each and every one of you, and you've helped us grow and change and be better people. And for that, we are truly blessed. And we thank God every single time before we come on this show, because without you, we don't know what we would do with our days. Thank each and every one of you. So allow yourself grace and know that y'all are very loved, and we are grateful that you're here every single day for us. Seasoning, Santino?
Journey of 1,000 steps, journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Thing is we got to take a look back at all the steps that we've taken. Even though we haven't made that 1,000-mile journey yet, doesn't mean that we haven't already made it. 717 miles, and we may still have more. We have a lot more to go. But the thing is you have to recognize how far you've come in your journey, and you have to recognize the blessings that you've had and how many ways God has helped you get to this point. The footprints in the sand story really helps out a lot sometimes, especially after we've been through some really difficult times, or sometimes when we're in the middle of those difficult times and challenges, those seasons in life.
Those storms can be rough.
The storms can be rough. And so what do we need to do? We need to take a step back, and look at all of the work that's been done. As something my grandpa did. He after working the field, the bean fields for the day, you take a look back and you look at all the cockleburs you pulled up out of the soil because they were going to choke out the beans or the corn or whatever it is you're growing. And to see that you did that work, you did a good job. And you may still have, let's say you have a section of land, 640 acres, and you only did 400 acres. Well, you know what? Those 400 acres look better than the 240 you still got to go.
Yes.
But at least that 400 acres that you already did says that, yeah, well, the rest of it's going to look this good now because you don't have weeds poking up out of your crops. Well, same thing. Or let's say you're going hiking. This was always an important thing. And maybe it is. It's probably a lot more important to look back than most people think, especially out here in the deserts and going hiking out, in the hills and the desert as a kid. You park your car, you want to know how to get back to it. So, you take a stop and you look back at the path that you were on. Why do you do that? Because you want to make sure that you can see what it looks like from that opposite perspective. Not that we're going to be going back to where we were, but in the end, it lets you know exactly where you're at. You know, whenever you're using a map, you pick 2 points on a map so that way you can draw a line to where you're at and say, okay, I'm about here. There's millions of ways to figure out where you're at. But the only way you can do that is to take that step back and look at where you are and look at where you came from. So that way it makes it a little bit easier to get to where you're going.
Amen.
All right, everybody. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure with all of you. And Liberty, I'm going to see if we can't make this thing work. He's trying to teach us how to do the raids. So we're going to see if we can't make that one work. But anyways, we appreciate all of y'all for showing up, and we really do love each and every one of you. And we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Locals, and Pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on Facebook, you got like 7 choices. So go over there and clickety-click.
Clickety-click, everybody. We love each and every one of you. We hope you have a great night. Be safe, and God bless all of you.